Our next guest is the all-time real estate debate champion. You know her simply as Champ. Please welcome back to the show, real estate expert, Elizabeth Story.
Champ is here.
Hello.
What's up, Champ?
Just doing wonderful in this beautiful city.
Doing your thing?
Doing my thing.
All right, that's awesome. So, a lot going on in the San Diego marketplace right now.
A lot.
A lot of people are, realizing that it's difficult to buy. A lot of home sellers are realizing it's a great time to sell. But even in a great market, home sellers can still make mistakes.
Right.
And that's what we're here to talk about today. So
Right.
We've got 5 big mistakes that home sellers make that you can help them avoid.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do, how many are we going to get today on the TV?
I'm going to try to get through at least 3.
Okay, let's do 3 and then the other 2 on your website?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So what's the first one you think that is probably the most important one that people make the most?
And the first one, so, if you look around online and different sites, there's lots of places that'll tell you what the mistakes are. But I feel like a lot of places really break them into a lot more categories than they need to be. The number one single most important thing is to prepare the home properly. And that is a very multifaceted approach because it's everything. It's from the time that somebody pulls up in front of your house. Are there weeds? Is your mailbox beat up? Are your flowers okay? Do you have nice rocks? Whatever's going on in the front of the house. Is your paint chipping? Whatever it is, your gate. All the way into when you get in the house. How's your front door look? Is it welcoming? How is your entryway? Does it have nice plants? Are they healthy? Because everybody, when they pull up to the house, they want to have this feeling like, I want to live here. So from the very moment that they put eyes on it, they're rating everything and they're cataloging in their mind. Then when they walk in, it shouldn't smell. I don't want to smell your kitty cats. I don't want to smell your dogs. I'm sure they're adorable, but I don't want to smell them. And I've seen that mistake happen way too many times because it's off-putting, puts people on edge. Another big thing that people I see not do time and time again is photos. From the minute that you decide to list your house, you kind of almost have to look at it like it's really not your house anymore. It's an asset that you're...
That's an interesting perspective.
Yes.
That's a really interesting perspective.
Yes.
That's a great way to put it, to sort of get you in the right mindset. Because you've been thinking, this is my house for however many years.
Right.
This is not going to be my house anymore.
Yep.
That's huge.
And I think if there was one biggest piece of advice I could give to any seller anywhere, everywhere, is the day that you list the house or the day that you sign the listing agreement, it's not your house anymore. Just wash it off. Okay? You want to take down your family photos, you want to take down really personal knickknacks, you want to kind of declutter. Again, buyers want to come in and they want to visualize it as their house. Because now they're trying to see it as their house. They don't want to see it as your house. So they're going to picture their pictures on the wall. They're going to picture their toys in the corner or their knickknacks or their desk. So you really want to create an open, decluttered, depersonalized space that really just showcases the home, not your life.
Because no one wants to buy your house, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
No one wants to buy your house.
Yes.
They want to buy their house.
Exactly.
That's really the key.
Exactly.
I think you mentioned something there that's really huge too, is to sort of be prepared for the judgment. Because that's what you do when you house shop.
Right.
I don't care if you're the most non-judgmental Buddhist in the world. Okay? When you go to shop for houses, you're judging everything you see.
Absolutely.
To the utmost degree.
Right.
Because you're paying hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions
Yes.
of dollars for this. That's a big deal. You're going to take every precaution you can. And if you don't like something, even the nicest person in the world is going to be able to say in that situation, I don't like it.
Right.
So they're not going to be able to look past stuff like that. I love the idea, smells is huge because here's the thing. Most home sellers, in my experience, are not smart enough to realize that they can't smell it anymore, that they've become used to it.
It's true.
So they don't think it smells. But your dogs do have a smell. You and your family probably have a smell.
Yep.
Just a fact. Your pets have smells. So getting sort of a different opinion on that, I think, is a really, really good idea.
Absolutely.
It's got to be tough as the agent, though, sometimes to come in and say, this doesn't smell quite right.
Yeah, and those are the things, people sometimes question, what do agents do? We do a lot of things, and sometimes we have to have very uncomfortable conversations with our clients. Nobody wants to hear that their house is cluttered. Nobody wants to hear that, they need to clean, they need to rent a storage pod because there's just so much stuff that there's too much stuff. But if we're looking out for the best interests of our clients, those are things we have to do and we have to say. So it's, for example, I've had clients, that have gotten storage pods, or we had to air out the house for a whole week, or we had to paint or whatever it was, get the carpets clean, get the couch clean. I've even had to remove couches just because it's just really important. And that's kind of where I like to go above and beyond. Sometimes I'll start working with clients months in advance because it takes time to prepare a home. And that's another thing, kind of goes into the mistakes category, is thinking that from the time you decide to hire an agent that your house is going to be on the market right away. It doesn't happen that fast. Not if it's done properly.
A free tip is what you're giving us.
Yeah, I'm giving a free tip.
Be prepared.
Yes.
For it to take a couple months.
Yes. If you're really diligent and you're doing your homework and you want to maximize your sales value, you really need to be signing with a listing agent, maybe sometimes months in advance. Because unless you have all day, every day for the next week to declutter your house, there's probably some homework that you're going to have to do, and I'm sure people are working and whatnot. So again, going back to preparing the home, if you're really diligent too, I love to see a pre-inspected property.
Very smart.
Yes, because when people get the inspection report, and they all do it. I've done it. We've all done it. Something that costs $100 to repair, we're asking for $1,000 off. You know what I mean? So I think it's better to go and have it inspected yourself. You can come up with any little issues because it's always things you're not thinking about. Like nobody thinks about the damper clamp in the fireplace. When I'm on my way to work in the morning, I'm not thinking about the damper clamp in my fireplace. Or is there an anti-tep bracket in my stove? You know what I mean? Those are not things that we are thinking about. So to have an inspector come through and let you know something that you might have missed, and then you can take care of it ahead of time, then buyers can go to that property with more confidence knowing that it's a clean property.
And you kind of take the negotiation advantage away from the buyer, because the buyer has a negotiation advantage with these inspections, especially on older properties.
Exactly.
Like you might get a full price offer, but inspection's coming around.
Yep.
And that's going to change.
And you get hammered.
Exactly. So, okay, so preparing the property, all encompassing, be ready for judgment. It's not your house anymore as soon as you decide to sell it. That's great advice. Another tip.
So the number 2 most important thing, I think these are my 2 very most important things above all else, is pricing it right. When the property first hits the market, there's always a flurry of activity. It goes off in everybody's alert bells. It's going off on all the top sites. It's coming up in saved searches. That is your best time because that's when everybody's paying attention. It's showing up in everybody's inbox. And as soon as people see a property, they're going to do one of about 3 basic things. They're going to say, it's right for me, the price is right, and I want to see it right away. If they have a good agent, they know they need to see it right away because you can't wait until Saturday or Sunday if it comes on the market on Monday because you might already be beat out. Number 2, they're going to say, no, it's not right for me and I'm not interested in seeing it. Well, fine, that was never your buyer in anyway. Number 3, I love it. It's overpriced. Let's wait and see. And that happens a lot. I can't tell you, because I watch, so all of my listings, I pay to feature them on all the top sites, and I watch how many shoppers save the home, and I compare that with how many shoppers view the home. And that's a really good indicator of whether or not the home is priced properly. Because if people are just waiting for it to come down, then it's probably going to end up coming down.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would think as a buyer, I guess if you thought it was overpriced, then that's going to be a big turnoff.
Right.
I mean, right off the bat, before you walk into it. Because if you see it online first, which where everyone's seeing this stuff, you're going to make a decision right there whether or not to go see it. If you think it's overpriced, you might not even go see it.
Exactly.
That's the trouble. See, in the old days, people had to go to houses in order to see them. Different story, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you could, maybe there was some salesmanship involved. Now, they can see the whole house.
Right.
They don't need that. So I think that's a really important point, pricing it properly, even in a really good market like this.
Right.
Having the right price on there to get the most amount of traffic while it's hot.
Right. Well, and everybody's watching time on market. And so when people see the time on market going up and up and up, then they want to negotiate it down, 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 down. And that's not true for every property. There are certain types of properties that in certain price ranges, they just have a lot longer market time. But generally speaking, you really want to be having offers in those first 30 days, hopefully in the first week on the market.
Yeah.
And then the number 3 tip that I think is really important, and we have some graphics to really demonstrate that, is staging the home. And it's one of the things I do get a lot of pushback on from people.
Really?
Yeah. According to the National Association of Realtors, home sellers spent anywhere from 1% to 3% of their property's value in staging, but it yielded anywhere from an 8 to 10% return on their investment. So it's one of those things, again, it kind of goes with properly preparing the home, but it's its own category, because staging the home, again, it appeals to a wider audience. It helps people visualize living in the home. So it doesn't make it look like your home, but it makes it look like a livable home. So if I walk in and see an empty dining room and an empty living room, I'm kind of struggling, like, will my furniture fit? Where does it go? How can I make this look good? you take away all those questions when you have a beautifully staged property that's warm and inviting, and people, instead of trying to figure out if their furniture is going to fit, they're going to figure out when they get to lay on that couch and take a nap. So you just want to make it, you just want to basically invite people in the door and say, write an offer, this house is worth it.
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
And it makes it look turnkey, too.
Right.
Which just mentally kind of gets you over that hump, because everyone's got to move anyway, you know,
Right.
but you don't need to like slap them in the face with that, you know what I mean?
Right.
And also it makes it look like a model home. For people who
Yes.
don't know what staging is,
Yeah.
it basically, it makes it look like a model home. You have a stager, you have someone whose job it is to make a house look like a model home.
Yes.
And so they come in, they make it new and cool looking, but also still very general to the extent that it's not like all orange or something.
Right.
So for people who don't know about staging, it's huge.
It is.
And so the you know, a couple of tips that you just kind of dropped in there, the pre-listing inspection. I don't know if that was an official tip or not, but I think that's enormous.
Yeah.
Take the advantage. Whoever buys the inspection, whoever pays for the inspection gets the advantage.
Right.
If you let the buyer pay for it, they get the advantage. If you as the listing homeowner, if you pay for it, you're going to get the advantage.
Exactly.
Just that simple. So I think that is enormous. Remember, it's not your home as soon as you decide to sell it. And there's 2 more tips.
Yes.
2,
Yeah.
which are going to be on your website at the link on the screen. So if you want to get the last 2 tips, check out the website on the screen and visit storyestates.com. You will find a bunch of other really cool information on your website as well. You can search for properties there. Anything else sellers should know in this market?
I just like to remind, well, it's a great market. It is a good time to sell. I just like to remind people, if you're curious, I have tons more information. I love to come to people's home, like I said, well in advance. So if it's an idea you've been kicking around, but it might not happen till the summer or later this year, call me now. I'm ready to go, and I can help you get started on your homework.
Create that game plan. Get the
Exactly.
timeline in order.
Get the game plan.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for coming,
Thank you.
Elizabeth. Really appreciate your tips. Don't forget to visit the website on the screen to get the last 2 big tips from Elizabeth's story. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.